You're now watching the Mike Missanelli podcast on the BetRivers Network.
Well, good evening, everybody. It is a special edition of the Mike Missanelli podcast on a Wednesday night following the Sixers' survival over the Miami Heat in a game that now sends them into a first-round playoff matchup against the New York Knickerbockers. The Sixers finishing in 7th place. The Heat now have to win another game to survive to get the 8th seed to go on and play Boston. And their chances dwindled a little bit considering the condition of one Jimmy Butler. But the Sixers looked like they were down and out in this game, especially in the first half. They did not come out ready to play. They didn't come out with the same energy as the Miami Heat did. And once again, Eric Spoelstra flummoxed them with good coaching. He put a full court press on them for a lot of the first half, which ate up. It didn't steal the ball, but it ate up a lot of clock. So the Sixers really were working with a short clock to start their offense. And for most of the night, I didn't really know what their offense was. So they were down big in the first half. And, of course, on social media, everybody is down on the Sixers and everybody is down on Joel Embiid. And lo and behold, the guy looked like he was just dead on his feet. He was favoring his knee all game. He was gassed. He was... You know, the true sign of when you're tired is when you're leaning down and you're pulling down on your shorts. He was doing that all night. And all of a sudden, in the fourth quarter, he wakes up. He buries 2 3-pointers. He makes a fall-away jump shot after like a one-handed flip off an offensive rebound. And then he makes a great assist pass to Oubre, who was down deep, who got the N1. And they were the key plays of the game. And the Sixers kind of held on in the end, and we'll go over the play-by-play, the last 3 minutes and 50 seconds, which were pretty exciting. But the Sixers won this game for a couple of reasons. Number one, Embiid came to life. Number two, Nicholas Batum out of nowhere making three-point shots, unguarded three-point shots. And I guess if you're the Miami Heat, you're trying to take away 2 people, really. And you're going to live with the circumstances and the ramifications of the rest of it. You're trying to take away Embiid by bottling him up every time down the floor, and you're also trying to take away Maxey. And you heard Jimmy Butler was mic'd up during the game. Don't let Maxey get a free look. And so the Heat concentrated on that all game long and almost pulled it off. But here's the problem with the Miami Heat. Jimmy Butler got hurt. And you can tell that he just wasn't the same player in the second half. And listen, he played on it. And he gutted it out, but the adrenaline's flowing. And when you go into halftime and you're idle and that thing starts to stiffen up, whatever it was, it looked like he hyperextended his knee. I don't think it was a knee bump. He was wearing a pad on his knee, so I don't think it was 2 knees that collided. I think when he came down, it was a hyperextension, and that tightened up for the rest of the game. And so the Heat are screwed if he can't play. But here's what we know about the Heat. Playoff Jimmy is one thing, and he can carry them to victories. But when they need points, they can't get them. And they relied mostly on Tyler Hero, who, like, you're looking to look at Tyler Hero's game and say, wow, he really shot him. He made the Miami Heat survive. But then you look at his numbers, and let me just look at it. Tyler Hero tonight was, hold on a second. 9 for 27. He was 9 for 27 in the game tonight. It was 4 for 14 from 3. It was like 1 for his first 10 shooting the 3-point shots. And so if you look at their lineup, where were they getting points? Adebayo was not any kind of an offensive threat tonight. Caleb Martin was terrible. Off the bench, they were trying to get points out of Haywood Highsmith, who I'll let him shoot all game long. He took 4 3-pointers, missed every one of them. DeLon Wright got some minutes, and Jaka has played okay, but he's not going to score. So with the Sixers buckled down with their defense in the second half, it became really difficult for Miami to score the basketball, especially with Jimmy Butler not orchestrating the play. I mean, they had to go away from Jimmy Butler for most of the second half, and the ball was in Hero's hands like 75% of the time. And it just wasn't enough for the Heat. The Sixers were sloppy early on, and there's no excuse for that. And there's no excuse for being ill-prepared against what Eric Spoelstra was going to do against you. And, and I look at Nick Nurse, and I know everybody loves that he's a brilliant strategist, but he looked outclassed in the first half. Spoelstra was running circles around him with that zone. It looked like they had never prepared for that zone. They were lost again, and it's not the first time that they've had to face a Miami Heat zone. So I was really disappointed in the way they came out. They had 11 turnovers. With 5 minutes were still left in the second period, and they had 11 turnovers. They did make a decent run, though, towards the end of the first half. And then you got in the second half where they made a comeback playing really good defense, and they took advantage of Butler not being Butler. Jimmy Butler finished with, let's see what he finished with in this game. Playoff Jimmy, by the way.
He had 19.
He had 19 points, and how many did he have in the first half?
He had.
He was 5 for 18, and most of those
2 for 6
misses. He played 40 minutes on that knee. 5 for 18. Not a great offensive night for him, obviously. He did make a couple of 3-pointers, but you could tell those 3-pointers looked forced. Like he didn't really have lift on those 3-pointers. He kind of like slingshotted those 2 threes that went in. But he certainly wasn't the same player, and that was to the Sixers' benefit. So when you look at it and you go, okay, this is an unlikely win because they had shut down Embiid for most of the game to the point where social media was destroying them. And then Maxey really was kind of taken out of the game as well. And so Nick Batum, I mean, who had that on their bingo card? Seriously, with that silly-looking jump shot where he's got both feet together. and then he got happy on the farm. And he threw another one in from the top of the circle that missed the whole basket. I'm going, slow down, Frenchman. All right, enough. Sacre bleu. That's enough. So
he was out playing beat and Maxey.
Yeah. So anyway, big night out. Hopefully he's got that on video tape. It's never going to happen again. I mean, you think Nick Batum's going to score over 20 points in the playoffs? You're crazy. But tonight they needed him, and he came through. And I was looking at the first half. They got out of Bio in quick 2 fouls. And I'm going, all right, well, Kevin Love's trying to play him. And I'm going, Nick, let's try to get the ball deep here. At least he wound up taking a beat out of the game when he knew Adebayo was out of the game. But with Kevin Love trying to play him, there's no way. I mean, that's a total mismatch. So if I'm Nick Nurse, I go, Joel, you got to suck it up for like 5 possessions in a row because we're going to get you the ball on the block here. That seems to be and they didn't do it, it was just baffling to see how they played in the first half with absolutely no offensive game plan. And fortunately, in the second half, it leveled off, and they got a break. Let's face it, Miami is not a team that's going to beat you by scoring. And without Jimmy Butler, they were easy pickings in the end. Although there were some clutch moments in this game. So let's go over. Let's pick up the play-by-play, and then we'll focus on the next series. Because I think I had picked the Sixers to win this game. In fact, I'll let you in a little secret since this podcast is sponsored by the great people at BetRivers. I got my BetRivers app today, and I go, Sixers win. And so money line was high. It was over 200. But I go, Sixers going to win this game. So whatever I bet's coming back to me. So I banged the Sixers on the money line, and then I looked at the line, and we had talked about this line, Darren. It looked like a Heat line early on. I go, let me just sideswipe it here with a little bet on the Heat getting 5.5, and I wound up going with a bing on my BetRivers app. So I'm happy.
Double bink. Double bink. What you were working with, Jonte Porter tonight?
For me, thanks to my BetRivers app, because I thought it was going to be a close game. I really thought it was going to be a close game. I didn't think the Sixers. Once I saw that line, I thought it would be kind of a nail biter, and turned out to be the nail biter. All right, let's pick it up with it. 3:50 left now in the game, and the Heat are up 89-88. Hero misses, but Lowry misses down the other end, and then Hero hits a pull-up J to make it 91-88 with 3 minutes left. Embiid is fouled, and it's a questionable call. It didn't look like he got fouled on that play, but they sent him to the line with 2:45, make. And it's 91-90. Sixers down by a point. Jaquez turns the ball over. The rookie feeling the heat of the moment, turns it over. And Embiid, with a dagger 3 ball to make it 93-91, gives the Sixers a lead with 2:30. But then that punky Tyler Hero comes back and made one of the 3 balls he makes is right there with 2:08 left. The Heat are up 94-93. everybody's sphincter is tight at this point. Could they possibly lose this game and have to play another game just to secure the 8th seed and play Boston in the first round? Nobody wanted to see that at the arena. So Embiid this is where the play the game, in my opinion. He gets snares the offensive rebound in the middle of the lane and kind of flips it back up one-handed and makes the jumper. And then it's an and one at 1:47 left. Makes it. Sixers up now 96-94. Haywood Highsmith, of all people, makes a runner to tie it at 96. I'm going, you got to be kidding me. This Schlemiel making a basket, an important basket in the guts of the game. Embiid misses at the rim, but the Heat turn it over on a backcourt violation. And again, that was Batum and Kyle Lowry playing into that play where Hero steps behind the backcourt line, turns it over. Crucial mistake for Miami. And then Oubre gets fouled on an N1 with Embiid making a great pass way at the top of the circle, right-hand side, and fires it in there. Oubre had really good position. He makes the layup, N1 makes the foul shot. 99-96. And Hero comes in. He's got a three-point shot. He looks like he's got it lined up. Who's the hero? Comes out and blocks it. Batum again. Chocolate blue again for Nick Batum. And Miami has to foul at that point. Maxey gets fouled with 24.7 left. Make. It's up 5 now, 101-96. And I'm playing this game in my head. If you took the Heat plus 5.5, you're playing this game in your head now, right? Because Highsmith makes the layup with 19 seconds left. It's 101-98. And you go, could you possibly get backdoored on this? And I'm expected to get backdoored, obviously, when it's in that situation. And Oubre gets fouled, though, at 16.4, and he makes. So that's 103-98. Jaquez hits a jumper to make it 103-100. Maxey's foul makes 2. And then Batum with a silly foul at the end. It's Hero on a screen, a legal screen. He grabbed him, and Hero makes a free throw. And then he makes a 3 from the corner, but the time runs out. So the Sixers were down 13 in the second half and come roaring back thanks to defense and Nick Batum and Embiid in the fourth quarter. And I know there's some people out there who just couldn't wait to rip Embiid, and they did on social media. Same thing with this guy. He never, always get hurt, and he never is going to have a big moment in the playoffs. So like, people are like nuts, and you didn't hear anything after his fourth quarter. But I tell you, who can't get away with anything anymore, and it's really a sin. They are just waiting to boo Tobias Harris. I mean, they are just waiting for that guy to make a mistake. He actually scored in the first half, and Oubre, I call him Kelly O, meaning he had 0 in the first half. At least Tobias scored a little bit, but Tobias missed the basket on a 3-point shot. And you could just hear the groan. Oh, you hear the groans. There was a guard that the Sixers had every time he was in the game and every time he shot. You heard the groans. I think he played at UConn. I forget his name. But there was a guard. Do you know who I'm talking about? It wasn't that long ago. Every time he came in the game, I forget his name. No. But anyway, there's always
there's probably a dozen guys, though, that could fit that role.
Yeah, this guy was a backup guard, and he was done. Yeah. His career was over, and he was just wasting people's time. And the crowd picks up on that, and they just loathed Tobias Harris at this point. And he can't do anything right. He had 10 rebounds in the game, I think. So it wasn't like he wasn't doing anything.
He doesn't do himself many favors, though, Mike. I mean, he really does.
Well, I think that he's judged overly harshly. Now, I'm not a fan of Tobias Harris. He is what he is at this stage. But people don't seem to evaluate him on he is what he is, because he basically is a mediocre.
It's because of his contract
at this stage. But sure, yeah, it's the contract. I get it, but I don't know. He can't win right now. He had 9 points. He had 10 rebounds in the game. He had 4 assists. He was 0 for 3 from 3 because he's not a 3-point shooter. So you look at the box score. Embiid was 6 for 17, had 15 boards, 23 points, and 5 assists. Had a ton of turnovers, though. Maxey had a ton of turnovers. Kyle Lowry is not really going to help him offensively, and they have to play a lot more games with Kyle Lowry has to gut it out. And Maxey was 6 for 16, 1 for 6 with the three ball, which is it's not going to cut it. Oubre had 11, a very mediocre 3 for 9 shooting night, and took only one 3-point shot. And so the hero comes off the bench, and it's Nick Batum, and nobody had that. You can go on and say, all right, if your starters finish with that, what I just ran down, there's no way you win that game because nobody is possibly thinking that Nick Batum would hit 6 threes. I mean, that's unbelievable when you think about it. And he made some really good defensive plays, and he played 28 minutes. Now he's an old man. Can he rebound and give them the same energy in the playoffs against the New York Knicks, who are now going to be well rested? When will this first game be? Will it be Sunday?
I would think Sunday.
Saturday or Sunday it has to be because they have to
Saturday
get that.
Or Sunday.
That second playoff game is going to have to be Friday.
It's Friday.
That,
In fact, the second playoff game is Friday.
Second playoff game that has to where Miami has to play the winner of the game that's going on right now between the Bulls and the Hawks. So they might start it. I don't know if it's Saturday or Sunday, but they're playing New York Knickerbockers in a 7-game series. I don't think the Knicks are that difficult and out. And maybe I'm disrespecting the Knicks because they've been playing really good basketball, and Jalen Brunson's been carrying them. So, I mean, I look at the Knicks and I go, are the Knicks like overmatching the Sixers at this point? I just don't see it. I think the Sixers can really survive that series. It may have to take them 7 games, and they may have to win a big game at the Garden to win this series because Knicks have a home court advantage. But I don't get scared. I look at it and I go, I'm kind of nervous that they're going to play Boston. I don't think they win that series. But anything short of Boston at this point in the Eastern Conference, I think they have a fighting chance, especially with Milwaukee, who I don't know if they get through the series. Giannis Antetokounmpo might not play the first 2 games in that series. The Pacers could win that series. And so, you're looking at the Sixers playing the Pacers if they beat the Knicks. So, we'll see what happens.
I think the Knicks, though, Mike, I think the Knicks have been the second best team in the East for most of the year. I still think they are.
Milwaukee kind of melted at the end. Milwaukee had the number 2 spot for a really long time. The Knicks kind of moved up late to become that second seed. I don't see them as a 2 seed. I really don't. I think they're a nice team. I think that coach has done a really nice job with them. I think they're a really good defensive team. And anytime you have Jalen Brunson, he's a winner. He knows how to win. But, I look at their team and I go, there's not much firepower on that team. I don't know where they're going to get their points. Randall's not going to be there. You're talking about Josh Hart and Dante DiVincenzo. Okay. The Villanova contingent. But I don't think they light you up offensively. And they're going to have to, it'll be a tough, nail-biting defensive series that the Knicks are going to.
We might have to have Jay Wright on again just to get his thoughts on all his boys playing.
So when you watched this game, what were your thoughts in this game?
I mean, I had similar thoughts to a lot of people. How is Batum winning, like taking over for this game? It's just he came out of nowhere. I mean, they trailed 51-39 at the half, and all I'm thinking is 39 points. I know Miami plays good defense. I mean, they won a lot of games during the playoffs. They were 31st. We talked about it yesterday, 31st in the league in scoring. It's a great comeback, though, and Embiid played well down the stretch. My concern, is he hurt? I often wonder if he's playing to heartstrings sometimes, like if he's gassed. He was clearly gassed.
You think he's putting on an act? You think Embiid's putting on an act?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not saying the mind wanders. You know what I mean?
Listen, he's playing.
Do you get that feeling sometimes with him?
He's playing with a big brace and he's coming off of surgery. I don't think that he's 100% healthy. And you go through the same thing. He's never 100% healthy. Yeah. I get that. If you're frustrated with that, I get it. But I don't think he's playing to the. I think that great athletes find a way to get things done when they need to, and he did that in this game. Now there have been games where he has not done that, but he certainly did that in this game. Those 2 threes that he makes are fearless shots that not many people would actually take. And then he made a great pass, and he made that offensive rebound, which was a great effort play where he had to really kind of stretch himself to get that ball and then flip it back up with one hand. It was a great play. So, I don't know. People are going to have their own opinions on Embiid. If the Sixers lose to the Knicks, there's no question in my mind that people in this town are going to say, you can never get it done with this guy. See what I'm talking about? You got to start thinking about moving him. That's going to happen if they lose to the Knicks. Now, if they don't lose to the Knicks and they go into the next series, I think they have a fighting chance to get to Eastern Conference Finals. I don't think that they would beat Boston. But if this team gets to an Eastern Conference Finals and loses to Boston, what can we say? Are we going to say
Boston's clearly the best
so?
team.
I mean, that's the reality of it. Boston is a better team than the Sixers. So, like, if they get to the finals, I don't think you'll hear much complaining, and then they'll just have to try to refigure. The thing that will buoy Sixer fans is that all this cap space they have, they can make a deal, they can sign a free agent, whatever, and Tobias Harris will probably be gone. So there'll be a better outlook for the Sixer fans going in next year.
It's an awful free agent class. I got a dozen texts tonight for two things. One, in the first half, like you said, dozen people. Enough. This guy can't take him. It's time to move on. He can't get it done. And then the other thing I got a dozen texts on tonight was, I'm buying a Nick Batum jersey tomorrow.
I don't even think they make those.
Come on.
To be honest with you.
Come on. They have to be custom jobs, right?
I don't know what's going on with Nick Batum.
God bless him.
God bless him. After he was interviewed afterwards.
I
love the French accent. He was interviewed afterwards.
Yeah.
I love it. I got my buddy. I got to rip my buddy Bob. My buddy Bob texts me and he goes, "Hey, this Batum or Batum is they spell it with a P." I go, "Come on, man. You can't spell the guy's name with a P. It's not Batum." That's how unknown he is to most of the fan base. All right. One other thing. JJ Redick. I always love to pick on JJ. Mr. Snotty, I call him. Mr. Snotty said something during the telecast. I don't know if anybody picked up on. He said, "Well, you know, in a must-win game like this or win or go home game, you get but people are tight." But I go, what? Don't you understand? This is not a must-win game. Like, if you lose this game, you play another game, right? Did anybody give you the memo, JJ? You know, Mr. Basketball Etiquette? All right, come on. All right. That's our post-game look at the Sixers game tonight as they survive. Would have been interesting to see them have to go or play another home game against either the Bulls or Atlanta, which would have been a snooze fest for me. I'm glad that didn't happen. I'm glad they got the 7th seed. And now you can just wait on the New York Knickerbockers, or you wait to go to the Garden for game 1.
The big winners tonight, Mike, though, are you're a big Bad Bunny fan, right?
No, I'm not a big Bad Bunny fan.
I thought you were a big Bad Bunny
Friday,
fan.
Though.
The concert will be Friday, all you Bad Bunny people out there. So there you go. No switcheroo.
Yeah, no, Bad Bunny would not be my thing.
No?
Is it your thing?
You never know.
Is it your thing?
No.
How about your daughters? Do they like Bad Bunny?
I don't think so. They don't talk about him. Yeah. The only guy I told you I got my guilty pleasure of that genre is oh my God, is Post Malone. I love Post Malone.
Yeah, he's not Bad Bunny though.
His stuff's great, but other than him,
Bad Bunny. The only thing I know of Bad Bunny was in the Cheetos commercial and also in a Corona commercial. So that's my extent of my Bad Bunny knowledge.
I don't even have that knowledge of.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us in a little special post-game Mike Missanelli podcast brought to you by BetRivers. The Sixers survive tonight. They win it 105-104, and they will get the 7th seed and play the number 2 seed New York Knicks in round 1 of the NBA playoffs. For Darren DeGaetano, I'm Mike Missanelli. Thanks for staying up with us. Let's go Sixers, and we'll give another podcast tomorrow for you right here on BetRivers Network. Take care, everybody. Good night.